So that's a quick tip with routers. A friend of mine is also a very experienced carpenter. He's more of a designer and does a lot of big wardrobe installation and stuff. He doesn't do much solid wood things and stuff, but he's very experienced as well. And to my big surprise, when he saw what I've done with my little edge trimmer, it was like, what would you do that for? Why would you turn your trimmer into a router? And for me, it's quite obvious why, but for him it wasn't, and he still doesn't really get it. I use this for a lot more than just than cutting laminating things. I use it for like rounding corners and all sort of things. And when you get a small contact surface, it's really easy to tip over or to get it wrong, especially around corners. You don't really know what you're doing, and you have to put pressure on something which is quite high up to keep your hand clear from the blades. Either you need to hold it kind of quite low, a bit too low to my taste, with an open blade like this, or either if you hold it a bit higher up, it's quite easy to tip. So on a small thing like that, it's fairly forgiving, but then again with this, it's not a problem. You have so much contact here that all you have to do is just pull a little bit like that. It's so comfortable to use this thing, and when you get around corner as well, it's really easy to pull around the corner and just hold it down and stay nice and flat. This is also true with this. So this I just had for this, just really comfortable to start with. If you look at the contact surface on the base plates, this is not always on. It's just on when I've got specific job, and I know I've got quite a few to do with the corners and large contact when I need a large contact surface. But if you look at the contact surface here, if you get around corners here, depending on which drill bit you use, router bit you use, it's not that much surface here. And if you put too much weight to keep it flat, eventually you can tip this way just as well as this way around. And it's not very comfortable. When with something like this, if you keep it nice and flat, like it's just one finger down, and it's flat, and you can just you can already count on this. You don't have to tip it. It will be very difficult to tip one way or another, and it's very comfortable, especially for corners. Again, when you get around corners, you can just really keep it flat, and with one hand, with two fingers, you can just really. You wouldn't operate it with two fingers, but just to show you how easy it is to keep nice and flat, and keep the reference without tipping. You don't need that much. When with this, it's very awkward. You have to hold the machine like this because there's nowhere else to hold it anyway. And then I've done it so many times, especially using how do you call this? The guide bush like this. And when it's quite long and your template is quite far out, if you got something over 18 mil and the template is at the bottom, it's really easy to slightly tip, and then you end up with nooks and mistakes on one end or another. So I really recommend you to make one of those. It's not always on, and it's not good for every single use of the router, but for most of them, when you start using guide bush or something where you cut quite a lot of material and you have a nice flat surface like that, I really recommend you to make one of them. It takes all of like 15 minutes to make. I've done it with MDF and I've waxed it quite a lot. I've used some beeswax on it. I've had this one for years now. I've not to remake it for, I've had this one for over 10 years now. So there you are.